Hey, babe.
Hey.
Well, it's not May 15th yet, so the trails are still closed. So today we're gonna find ourselves a little bit shiny.
Wait, brother. Oh God. We pass on to you the body and soul of this famous beggarhead. Or waste a couple of years digging in the dirt and find the dirt like I've been doing. Talk about him. You want to be next? And seeing how he survived all of that. He could have been hit by timber, rolled down a shaft, died, get murdered, or committed suicide on Christmas Eve. What I'm trying to say, Todd, is you don't seem to have no particular pity for your children when they live it. So that's why we're asking to be a little kinder to them when they dead. So don't do reverence, Lord. We pass out of you. This corncracker's body and soul. To take them and to keep them, I stake this claim for me, my new partner over there, whatever the hell his name is. Forever and ever. Amen. Roll him up.
Got a dream boy, got a song. Take the land.
Everything we're using here today can be purchased on Amazon. The Australian Dream Mat sluice matting, Mine Labs gold pans, Garrett gold classifiers, East Wing rock hammers, and we prefer to use canvas buckets that didn't go to storage to get them. And we'll leave our affiliate link in the description below.
Now, the first step in finding gold is, number one, going to a place that's gold bearing. And today we're out on one of the GPAA claims. And for those of you who don't know, that's Gold Prospectors of America Association, which is the poor man's version of the Lost Dutchman Mining Association, which is the parent organization. The GPAA allows you access onto a couple thousand claims nationwide, whereas the LDMA allows you onto all of them, plus a bunch of premium claims that off limits to anybody but LDMA members. But since the trails are all still closed, this is how Jeepin ties into gold prospecting. And we have the beautiful Rhea down here, getting dirt in her eye. Now, we've already gotten a lot of gold out of this particular hole, and where it's a club claim, people are just, people do some really sketchy practices to get $20 or $30 worth of gold. This undermining and stuff like that, I would never condone it. You notice Rhea's kind of staying back a little ways and not going all the way down in here. But we know there's gold here. This is an old tertiary channel. This was deposited millions of years ago when the creek was actually clear up here. And we'll take you down to the creek and show you what we do down there to extract the gold from the dirt. See you in a bit.
Now, if you haven't figured out the connection between the Jeep and gold prospecting, let me put it in simple terms. It's about access. Most of the GPAA claims in this area are close to main roads, and several of them are accessible with Class A motorhomes. And they get used, and they get abused. And there's still a lot of gold out in the hills, but in order to access a lot of that gold, you've got to have something that can get you deep in the Black Hills. And that's where the Jeep comes in.
See if I can do a page out of Bogas prospecting here and do a test pan
While I'm filming, because it's harder than it looks.
So what I'm doing here is I'm stratifying. I've already dumped a lot of the really light weights off the pan, and by getting water on the pay dirt and shaking it in the water, the heavies are going to the bottom corner. Gold is 16 times heavier than anything else in the creek. Shake it. Knock the top layer off. Shake it some more, get the gold back down into the bottom pan. You don't ever want to strip past your ripples in your pan. Now it's come to our attention that 92% of our returning viewers are not subscribed to the channel. So what are you waiting for? We don't bite, and we're not going to send you a bill in the mail. So go on, subscribe, and keep up with what we're doing. Is it really small and really flat?
Super thin, it floats. I lost probably a third of it.
Okay, I'm going to do just one more stratification. Oh, we got hematite. That bright red, little kind of almost purplish rock. They're very, very heavy, and that's a good sign. You see, I'm just taking the lightweight stuff, floating it off the top. Now I'm going to get this concentrated in the bottom of the pan. We're going to do a little bit of, let me turn so the sun's on it so you can see it. We're going to do a little bit of ocean motion. Just kind of, you don't swirl, you rock back and forth. You just kind of strip a little bit at a time. Up. A piece just poked its head out. Oh, we got black sand. That's a good sign. Black sand, the hematite, all good. Now, I'm not expecting this to be a heavy pan or anything because this is just about washed off. There is one piece of gold down here in the very bottom corner, right there. I'll try to blow it up with DaVinci so you can see it.
Don't waste time with the gold in your test pan.
I see you soon.
Dump it down the sluice. You'll meet again.
I see you soon. Go meet again.
Now, why do we classify material? Okay, we classify it to get it down to particles small enough that they'll run down the sluice without clogging the sluice. And we also want to eliminate the stuff that's so big it's obviously not gold. And we wet classify whenever we can. And the reason is, you'll see these rocks right here. Well, let me just show you this. This has a layer of compacted river bottom sand and gravel. And that can hold gold. So that's why we wet classify. A lot of people dry classify in the hole, and honestly, I've gone back with a metal detector where they were and found a picker that was stuck in the rocks that they discarded and didn't bring down to the creek and process. So that's why we bring all of our rock down to the creek, wet classify it, and check everything. We also, on this claim, are running 1/4-inch secondary classifier because we have found pieces of gold here that would not go through an 1/8-inch classifier. So that's why we wet classify. Really? Nice.
Just kidding. Don't put that on there. Love you.
Yeah, so what we're doing here is we're running the dirt down the sluice. The sluice will separate the lightweight stuff that's not gold from the heavy stuff that can be gold, and the gold will settle into the cells in the bottom. And then at the end, we have Rhea pan all that stuff out that comes out of there, because the little scream that comes out of her when there's a big shiny yellow grin in the pan is absolutely adorable. And that hematite that I told you about in our area, that kind of iridescent, almost purple looking rock, shiny, iridescent, brownish, purplish, reddish, almost bluish sometimes, is very, very heavy. When you're on this, you're on an area where thousands of years ago, millions of years ago, when the gold dropped out, this dropped out along with it, because it's probably 10, 12 times heavier than anything in the creek. You find this, you're on the right track, at least in our area. There's a wild native girl.
Hey, I'm tame now.
Sort of. You didn't fill those too full, did you? That brings us luck. Attracts the gold. An offering to the gold gods. Look that 1/8" screen over real good, just in case there's anything shiny and yellow.
Oodles of hematite.
It's a good sign. I'm gonna film over your shoulder here.
Look at this interesting little guy.
Huh.
He's just cool looking. He's not
Gemstone or anything.
No.
Every now and then in this claim we'll find garnets that are like big enough to make small jewelry.
You want half of this bucket?
No, baby, I'd like for you to pan it out because I want the squeal.
Okay, well, let me stop and kind of be in. Thank you, love.
That is going to be what we call a heavy pan.
It is heavy. This is a heavy pan.
Well, the expression heavy pan means there's a lot of gold in it. So I'll check back in when we get closer to the yellow grin.
Doesn't really count if you're going to spoil it. And there it is. Not a lot.
Oh, there's more there than you think. It's still right in the black sand.
And a garnet.
And a nice garnet.
Mhm.
You got... Nom, 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 nom.
Oh, I brought the num num.
That's okay, I remember. Nom, 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 nom. Yay, gold! Now what we're looking at here, besides the beautiful Rhea, right behind Rhea you'll see a piece of jagged, flat rock. That's bedrock. Directly above it, try to put it right in the middle of the screen, you'll see a very large piece of water-worn rock. This is where the river channel used to be, and this is where river gravels met bedrock. So down in this and in this first layer of this sharp shale is gold. Most of the gold is above the sharp shale. In the river gravels and in the sand that is compacted is actually trying to morph back into rock. That's what everybody's chasing here. Now there are people who dig into that sharp shale, but the gold doesn't last very long. It only goes down about 12 inches in the cracks and then it's done. Zoom in here so you can see back here in this area. See bedrock, and you see river gravels. And it's a funny thing about club claims. Last year, mid-season, there was an old prospect pit from back in the 1800s, and I decided to go into it and dig a little test sample. So I dug a hole about 18 inches in diameter and 24 inches deep, and I covered it back up, just because you're supposed to cover your holes. Come back a year later to this. Yeah, it's a funny thing on the club claims. People will follow you around, and if they see a spot where you've done a test pit and then looks like you've tried to disguise it, they'll do all the hard work for you and dig it out big enough to park a Buick in it, and then you can get in there and get to some of the good stuff. And you see here where the bedrock forms a natural V. Well, that's a natural gold concentrator right there, because as the creek's running over this and the gold sinks in the sand and silt, it strikes that bedrock and runs to the lowest point and accumulates. So you get in a spot like that, you can find lines of gold. Here's the gold we got this time out.
Now, if you'd like to try your hand at gold prospecting, follow our Amazon affiliate link and get you some gear. We hope to see you out on the trail or the gold claim. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button, like the video, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think.